Next one is rear engine rear wheel drive. Engine is mounted at the rear side and power is transmitted to the rear wheel. So it is known as, this layout is known as rear engine rear wheel drive. Rear engine rear wheel drive. You can see the diagram. Engines are mounted at the rear wheel. What are the advantages of rear wheel drive? Weight over rear wheels increase traction while accelerating. Front axle construction is simplified. And third one is absence of propeller shaft results in decrease of floor height. And next one is the engine components mounted at the rear of rear axle, hence more space is available. Right? Disadvantages: separate cooling mechanism is needed for the effective cooling of the engine, as the engine is mounted at the rear and it is not able to contact with air properly, so we need the different or separate cooling mechanism. Next, more load on the rear side may result in overturning of the vehicle, so it will create a oversteering if we put more load on the rear side. So this is a disadvantage. Next one is a longer linkages are required to operate clutch gears from driver, so this is a disadvantage. Next one is a all-wheel drive. An all-wheel drive device is one with a powertrain capable of providing power to all its wheels, whether full-time or on-demand. Right? And most commonly used all-wheel drive vehicle is known as four-wheel drive vehicles. Right? You can see the diagram which is showing the four-wheel drive function. Clear? The four-wheel drive, also called 4x4 or 4WD, refers to a two-axle vehicle drivetrain capable of providing torque to all of its vehicles simultaneously. Right? It may be full-time or on-demand, and it is used in a racing cars, all-terrain vehicles, and in a heavy vehicles, generally in road racing, etc. So you can see the AWD or 4WD and difference between AWD and 4WD. All wheels in AWD, all wheels always engaged. It is safe and advantageous over 4WD. But in case of four-wheel drive, four wheels can be engaged only in difficult terrain. In normal condition, power is given to rear wheels only. So this is the difference between all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Right? Advantages of four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive improves traction in dangerous driving conditions such as snow, ice, rocks and other scenarios that can make control difficult. By engaging both sets of wheels, traction and control improves. Second is the additional weight contributes to the better grip on the road. Due to additional weight, it provides better gripping on the road. Right? Next is 4WD is great for those who like off-roading. If you don't like to drive your vehicle on the road, so this is the great vehicle for you. This is a good vehicle for you. Disadvantages. First disadvantage is maintenance. It requires a lot of fuel. Your vehicle is having less mileage. The design is complex and increasing initial market value. It requires more fuel. Added weight improves traction and control, but it is also increases the braking distance required to make a complete stop. Right? Lighter vehicles can avoid collision easier than heavier vehicles. Very important disadvantage is it is having less braking effect. Reason? Because of heavier weight, which increases the braking distance required to make a complete stop. And always remember, lighter vehicles can avoid collision easier than the heavier vehicles. Right? So these are the disadvantages of all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Right? Let's see the next topic of this unit, that is frame. What is a frame? A frame is the main structure of the chassis of motor vehicle
and all other components fastened to it or fixed to it, right? So here we can say frame is a key component of a chassis, right? Frame have three different types, or there are three classifications of frames. First one is a conventional frame, also known as ladder frame. Second one is a integral frame, and third one is a semi-integral frame, right? Also, let's see the functions of frame. What are the main functions of frame? First one is to support chassis components and body. So frame supports the chassis component like steering, suspension system, gearbox and engine, etc., and the body structure, vehicle body and its accessories, right? Second function is to withstand the static and dynamic load of different components of chassis. The load it can withstand the static and dynamic load of different components of chassis. There are a lot of components mounted on the chassis, right? So it is able to withstand the load conditions of the components of the chassis. Next one is to withstand load of the body, right? The load of the body means the vehicle body, the interior, exterior of the body, the chassis and frame, the chassis and the body, vehicle body is known as the load of the body, right? Third one is to carry the external load. What are the external loads? The passengers, the luggage are the external loads. Next is to withstand stresses caused due to uneven road conditions. Uneven road conditions means the speed breakers, bumps, right? These are the uneven road conditions, and these causes the stresses. So it should withstand stresses caused due to uneven road conditions. Next one is to withstand force caused due to turning of the vehicles and sudden braking or acceleration, right? So these are the functions of frame, and it is very important, right? So let's see the first classification of the frame, that is conventional frame, also known as ladder frame. You can see the picture of the conventional frame, right? It is a very common type frame, and it is commonly used in a heavy vehicle like trucks, buses, etc., right? And so this is the design of a ladder frame, right? So you can see the ladder frame here. This portion is known as rear overhang. This portion is known as front overhang, right? These are known as spring brackets. These are known as body brackets. I'll tell you the function of all these parts, all these components. These vertical members are known as cross members. These two horizontal members are known as side members or chassis side members, right? Also these are the spring brackets. So this is the axis of a rear wheel or rear axle. This is the axis of the front axle, and the distance between these two axles are known as wheelbase. This is the side view of your frame, conventional frame, and this is the top view of the of your conventional frame, right? Clear? So these are the major components of your conventional frame. So conventional frame is used in most of the heavy vehicles. Second one is the construction of frame varies according to the type of vehicle, whether it is a bus, it is a SUV or it is a trucks. It depends on the type of vehicle or design of the vehicle. It is generally made up of steel section. This type of frame has 2 long side members and 5 to 6 cross members. You can see here 2 long side members and 5 to 6 cross members joined together with the help of rivets or bolt, not welded. These are joined together with the help of rivets or bolt. These cross members are used to increase the strength of the frame. Cross members are used to increase the strength of the frame, and they are inswept, narrow at the front. You can see here the side members are inswept, also known as narrow at the front, and they are upswept, broad, having larger width at the rear. Right? Larger width at the rear. What are the reasons? Because the frame is narrowed down at the front to have better steering lock, which provides space for pivoting and swinging of the front wheels. Right? And it is upswept at the rear, provided to give room for the vertical movement of the rear axle as it travels over road bumps and other road inequalities. What are the functions of body brackets? Main function of body bracket is to support the body of the vehicle. Right? These are nothing but these are the fixation of the body chassis components. Spring brackets are provided for mounting the body of the vehicle. These are the spring brackets. You can see the extension of frame at front and rear. What are the reasons? Extension of chassis frame ahead of the front axle known as front overhang. Right? These are the front. This is a front overhang and this is a rear overhang. Right? And different sections are used, for long and cross members. Generally, channel section and box section are used for long side members. I will tell you about the channels used. And other sections like eye section, head section, tubular sections are used for cross member. Clear? So let's see the channel section, box section, frame cross sections. This is the channel cross section, box section, eye section, head section, tubular section. Right? Mainly we will talk about these following three sections. First is channel section. It provides good resistance to bending. Second one is the box section. It provides good resistance to both bending and torsion. And third one is the tubular section. It provides good resistance to torsion. Right? So here we can see the box section is better as compared to other sections. Right? Second classification of the frame is the integral frame. Right? Integral frame. It is also known as unit body. So in this type of construction there is no frame. It is also called unitized frame body construction. Right? So the frame chassis frame concept is not here. It is not having that concept. It is entirely a single body. All the assembly units are attached to the body and all the functions of the frame carried out by the body itself. Here the body shell. What is the body shell? The exterior of the body is known as body shell. And underbody, the interior of the body is known as underbody. are welded into single unit, like you see in the cars. The underbody is made up of floor plates and channel and box sections welded into single unit. This assembly replaces the frame, right? So it is having the name frame, integral frame, but actually it doesn't have any frame. This frame is used nowadays in most of the cars. Due to elimination of long frame, it is cheaper, and due to less weight, most economical also, right? If your vehicle is having very small amount of weight, very less weight, it means it will provide you the better mileage, better performance, and it is very economical. What do you mean by economical? Fuel consumption. If fuel consumption is very small in your vehicle, that means your vehicle is very economical. Only one disadvantage of this frame is it is very difficult to repair the vehicle, right? Next, you can see the integral frame. One of the types of the integral frame is a monocoque, which is used nowadays in the cars. You can see it is a design of cars, and it is a unit body construction or integral frame. Last one is semi-integral frame. It is a combination of conventional frame and the integral frame. Half of the portion is like conventional frame like structure. In some vehicle, half frame is fixed in the front and on which engine, gearbox and front suspension is mounted, right? In this case, the rubber mountings used in conventional frame between frame and suspension are replaced by more stiff mountings. It is a very important point. Rubber mountings used in conventional frame between frame and suspension are replaced by more stiff mountings. Because of this, some of the vehicle load is shared by the frame also, right? So it is the combination of frame and unit body. So it is known as semi-integral frame, and this type of frame is heavier in construction. It has the advantage when the vehicle is met with accident. Being a mechanical engineering student, being a mechanical engineer, being an automobile engineer, you should consider the safety of the vehicle. So suppose there is any case of accident, it has the advantage that front frame can be taken easily to replace the damaged portion. So the front frame can be easily replaced. It's easy to replace, right? So it is having this advantage. This type of frame is used in some of the European and American cars, right? So this was the semi-integral frame, and it is a picture of a semi-integral frame. Half portion is a conventional and half portion is a unit body, right? So let's move to the modern day frames which are widely used, special frames you can say, or chassis. You can call it frame, you can call it chassis, you can call it body, all are same in modern days frames. So first one is tubular frame. You can see the picture of tubular frame. Right? It is a three-dimensional design. Generally, it is used in a manufacturing of cars, sport cars nowadays. So it's a 3D design, three-dimensional design. Tubular space frame chassis employs dozens of circular section tubes. You can see here. Positions in different directions to provide mechanical strength. So you can see it is a truss like structure, and you can see very less amount of bolted and riveted joints are here. All the joints are welded. So they are welded circular section tube to provide mechanical strength to the vehicle. These tubes are welded and forms very complex structure, you can see here. So this is known as tubular frame or tubular chassis. Next one is a monocoque. It is a widely used frame. It is a type of an integral body. It is a type of a unit body. So monocoque is a one-piece structure which defines overall shape of the car. It is very different to the conventional and tubular and backbone structure, right? Today 99% of cars are produced with the help of this monocoque structure, or 99% car produced in this planet are made of steel monocoque chassis. You can see everywhere nowadays it is used very widely. Only trucks and buses are constructed with the conventional frame, and all the passenger cars and small vehicles are using monocoque structure, monocoque concept, right? Chassis are made by welding of several pieces. You can see all the pieces are joined together with the help of welded joints. It is made up of steel, right? Generally spot welding is used, and all the other manufacturing processes are involved like casting, forging, but spot welding is a very important process for the manufacturing of a car, for the manufacturing of monocoque, right? Next one is a backbone frame. It is similar to the body frame structure, right? And it consists of strong tubular backbone. An entire body is placed on this structure. It is used in sports car and ATVs. Important point, it consists of strong tubular backbone, usually rectangular in cross section. So it is generally used in sports cars. So this was the backbone frame. Clear? So guys, we have completed the first part of unit 1, that was vehicle structure. So right, I hope you will understand the basic concepts of vehicle structure, vehicle layout, chassis, frame, right? Thank you.